Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, we're going to take a look at Aussie yen as we could be seeing a move to the downside that we've spoken about recently or previously on our videos. Now, if we first of all, I just want to start off with the strength meter. I want to start off by looking at the strength and weakness of the currencies at the moment and why in particular Aussie yen is of interest for some downside due to the fact that we have multiple reasons, and one of those reasons is the fact that just from the strength meter alone, the Australian dollar strength is getting weaker. It's this grey line just through there that you can see just behind the others, just at this zero line now. Price got to the extreme, okay, and usually when the price gets to the extreme, we see some downside, and that's what we're starting to see from Aussie. Yen is the opposite. We're at the extremes to the downside, very weak, and now we're starting to see buyers come into that market. So these two lines are converging towards each other. We've mentioned this in a previous video, and that typically means that we could start to see this market in a reversal position. Now, not only that, if we take the Australian dollar into context, you know, I really like the idea of being short Aussie. Recent data out of the Australia. So let's just bring in this. So this is Oz unemployment data. So the Australian unemployment data. And I'm also going to bring in the Aussie GDP figures. The reason why I'm bringing in the GDP figures is because we'll probably see a decline in GDP due to the recent data that we've seen out of Australia. Now, what's concerning is this number of unemployment and the fact that it is on a sort of upward trajectory again after significant declines in unemployment. We have now seen it gain again. Now, typically when we see this happen, then what usually happens following that is the fact that you've got less people spending in the economy. The RBA that are looking to potentially hike interest rates as well may hold off increasing those rates, or at least do less interest rate hikes. There's less money flowing into the economy, and what that usually leads to is some downside in the GDP figures. So what I'm kind of looking at here is you can see sort of January 2021 here, and you can see the GDP figures out in January, and there was quite a decline in the Australian dollar's GDP figure, and that's coming out next month in December. So we could see another decline in those GDP figures as unemployment rises. So you've got all those kind of things. We've also got, I believe there was a decline in wages in Australia as well. So there are multiple different factors suggesting that the Australian dollar could get weaker in the market. So what we want to do with all that sort of analysis away from the chart is then think, well, what can we trade it against? And that's when the strength meter shows us that the yen is getting stronger. That could be a market that we trade the Australian dollar against. And what we highlighted in a previous video was the potential for Aussie yen to pull back into this 82 zone, because technically here we're in an uptrend. The market is making higher highs. However, if we were going to be buyers technically, okay, not fundamentally, but technically, we would look for a higher low, because that's what we do when we're identifying trend. Now, price could come back into this previous structure and find some support, because that's what we typically look for. However, we could see a continued decline in the Australian dollar in the short term due to all the reasons that we spoke of there. Now, looking at the trend here, what we look at in particular is when the market is in an impulsive and a retracement phase. So if I just highlight this retracement phase in here, and I'll highlight it here on the 4-hour time frame, okay, we can see that the market is making lower highs and lower lows. That's what we typically see in a downward sort of retracement phase of an uptrend. Okay, we see the market making lower lows and lower highs. That could offer us opportunities. So we actually spoke about this market earlier in a previous video, saying that, you know, we want to see some potential downside from this market. And now we're starting to clearly see lower lows and lower highs again. We've rejected this previous resistance level, and look at price now. It looks to be breaking to the downside, breaking through this low. So what I would look for a trading opportunity is the potential for the market to retest 83 and move down to this 82 level. That could be an opportunity for us on this overall market bigger picture, with this move on the weekly potentially coming down into around about 82 or 81.75. So I hope you enjoyed this video update. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more of the Forex content, and I'll catch you in the next video.